What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video I am going to be bringing you guys some early spoilers for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex manga chapter number 30, and I'm also going to be talking about some of my expectations for manga chapter 30 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex as well. So first things first, shout out to Felix for some of these key dates right here and the spoiler I'm going to show you guys. So we have a sneak peek that came out yesterday on the 14th, and we are going to go over that. We should be having another sneak peek panel slash page on the 18th, and then we should be getting the cover sometime later today and some spoilers starting up tomorrow or perhaps even as soon as tonight. We'll see, but that's kind of what's rumored right now. And then we'll find out what the Volume 7 cover for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex is going to be on the 20th of January. So that's kind of what's going on if you're interested in knowing, the dates with everything right now leading up to the chapter and beyond that. So, let me show you guys this quick little sneak peek page spoiler. This is it right here, and it's translated, so it's pretty much continuing on that fight where we ended at the end of chapter 29 with Shikadai, Chocho, and Himawari going up against Mamushi. So Chocho says these guys are still, and then right then Himawari yells move, and it seems like the Mamushi are, looking that way or at least heading that way. But we see Himawari pretty much charging up a tail beast bomb right here. So Himawari is not playing around. This is some pretty hype stuff, but it does make you wonder what kind of damage this might do to the village, perhaps. And I wonder if this is one of those cases where Jura might react a certain type of way, more so towards Mamushi, because you just never know how he's going to feel about, some of the village being destroyed and that kind of being disrespected because he cares about the culture and the village itself. So, him not, wanting to see that destroyed or just respecting those um, things in Konoha are going to be something that might come back to bite Mamushi, because Jura could be like, you could have done this a lot more swiftly. Look at you, because of you, multiplying to this degree, it resulted in the enemy using more extreme tactics that are leading to more destruction in the village. So I feel like that's one way they could go about it, but who knows? Now, as for what I think is going to happen in this chapter, we're going to touch on a couple of bases over here. So, first things first, I do think this fight that we just got the sneak peek preview of is going to be what kicks off the chapter itself. And I feel like we're going to see Shikadai and Chocho probably do some assistance here and there in the fight, but not do anything too crazy. I'm sure they're going to have their share of lines, and mostly I think it's going to be Himawari putting up a effort against Mamushi. But this is a big thing in general, because what if Mamushi is the one who gets Himawari, to Jura at the end of the day, in that vision that Koji had and was telling Inojin about. So I feel like Himawari is going to be able to do some damage for sure and take out a couple of them, but at the end of the day, I don't really think it's going to be enough for Himawari to make like that crazy difference to the point where that she can just kind of handle that whole area on her own. What I think is going to happen is Boruto is actually going to pull up in time and make a pretty epic save for Himawari. I think that's where we're going to trend, and I think that's partly because of where last chapter was hinting at, where Shikamaru was telling Boruto, like, hey, head to this area, because that's where Team 10 is going to be with Himawari. So that's what I think is going to happen. And ultimately, I think that Boruto is going to probably have some cool action panels himself. I think we're going to see a little bit more flexing going on from Kawaki as well at some point. But that aside, the main thing I'm expecting this month's chapter to focus on is going to be Mamushi probably locating where Ada is at. And then hopefully we get a confrontation now between Damon and Mamushi. I feel like that would be pretty fire, and it's something I feel like a lot of fans have been anticipating to happen. So I think a Damon versus Mamushi fight is something that's due, and I feel like that'd be pretty cool also because we haven't really seen Damon fight in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex like that. So I think that we're going to head towards that. Maybe that could be the cliffhanger possibly, but I do think that Mamushi is going to end up locating Ada in this chapter. Aside from that, I also think that we are going to have a decent bit of the chapter focus on the stuff that's going on between Shikamaru and Kobu. So I think that Kobu's a pretty smart guy, because of how he's been interrogating so far, and him just having his feeling in general too about what Konohamaru was saying in last month's chapter and everything. I feel like this whole interrogation that's going to end up happening of Shikamaru now is going to be pretty pivotal, and it's basically going to be a battle of mind games in a way, because Shikamaru is obviously a really, really smart guy himself, but we know from what Koji said that Shikamaru needs to remain in Hokage position in order to give them better odds in this battle they're currently at. So in order to do that, I feel like Shikamaru is going to have to play his cards pretty well here. And while Shikamaru is distracted, this could be the period where Mamushi takes a little bit more advantage. And I feel like that could ultimately be, what ends up leading to a slip up, in terms of the Konoha guys. And maybe that's what's going to give Mamushi some sort of opening. I also think that Mitsuki and Konohamaru should be entering the battlefield pretty soon as well. I know Konohamaru is trying to get Mitsuki released, and Shikamaru has let Sai know that his orders are, if things get really bad, to let Mitsuki out. So I feel like both of them are going to enter the battlefield, and that could be leading us towards a potential Team 7 reunion even. And I think that could be some pretty dope stuff. That aside, I guess another thing we could talk about is what kind of role Sarada is going to play as well, because we haven't really seen Sarada super involved yet in this whole battle, but we do know she's part of the mission. So I feel like another thing that could happen this month is if they want to deviate away from what happened in last month's chapter and just address a whole different end, we could end up having Sarada get like some action scenes in this chapter as well. Another way they could go about it, and this would be a little bit of a twist, is maybe Hidari shows up. But I'm thinking of that idea a little bit more, and I have some doubts just because I feel like if that was going to happen for sure, or if it was even decently likely to happen, I feel like Koji would have mentioned that to them. But then again, Koji could have told them off screen and we might just not know. But maybe Sarada gets targeted by Hidari again, and that could be some, way they could go about making things a little bit more chaotic in the village and whatnot. But all in all, that's kind of like my jumbled thoughts on what I think is going to happen in Chapter 30, or some things I'm expecting to happen. They could surprise me, of course, and it could be completely way, way different than what I'm predicting. But that's kind of where my head is at. I do definitely want to hear what you guys think in the comments below of everything, so definitely let me know. And looking forward to talking about the spoilers when they drop. So look forward to that. Spoiler video should be coming out, I want to say, anytime in the next 12 to 18 hours, hopefully. So look forward to that. But that's going to wrap up this one. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. And as always, I hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.